Since the dawn of time, people have been telling stories. Stories teach and inspire, they make us laugh, love, and cry. The question is, why do we feel such a strong emotional connection to these stories? When put simply, it is because we are a part of the story ourselves. In order for it to feel fulfilled and happy, we need to live life as if we are the main character. More specifically, we need to live life as if we are the hero. Pick your favorite story, pick your favorite character. All of them have at least one thing in common. They invoke emotions in our bodies and even our souls. In one way or another, all these characters conquer their own world, internally and externally. These stories speak to us not just because they are entertaining, but because they are intrinsic to what we feel as human beings. These characters are on a hero's journey, just like every one of us. The parallels you can draw across the fictional and mythological stories of time are no coincidence. They don't just follow similar themes, they are the same story. The story of the hero and the hero's journey. Although this concept has been popularized by various sources, most famously Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey is intrinsic to humanity. It is a journey of being that we all embark on, a journey of separation, initiation, and return. From ancient pagan religion to the myths of the Greeks and Romans to modern day sci-fi, fantasy, and adventure, all are manifestations of the hero's journey. There's something deep within the soul of humanity that feels and knows this is the way to live life, and that's why the same stories told repeatedly speak to us. If you can understand the why and how behind these stories, you can begin to understand the why and how in your own life, and from there, embark on your own journey and conquer your world. Every story begins in the ordinary world. It is where we live our day-to-day lives. It is where you are right now. It is safe and comfortable. This works for most people, but for some out there, it can feel empty, fruitless, and stagnant. People can spend an entire lifetime here, and many do. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. That is, unless you want more. If you know deep in your soul you are meant for something more. You have places to go, a life to live, and a world to conquer. For all our faults, humans can do something better than any other known being on this planet. We are creators and we are meant to build and create. Many of us have heard life is a journey, but no journey can be successful if you are walking aimlessly. If you never take a step in the right direction, you are complacent. Complacency can take you on a journey, but it is a journey that leads only to stagnation. All the heroes of every story start in this ordinary world. That is, until they wake up. There's a moment in every great story where the hero wakes up, realizes that they are meant for more. According to Campbell, this stage of the journey signifies that destiny has summoned the hero and transferred his spiritual center of gravity from within the pale of society to his own unknown. You know this feeling. Every time you get inspired and have that feeling of awe, wonder, and excitement, you are experiencing the call. It can also be simple or mundane. The call can come in many forms. Even a blunder can reveal the unexpected world to us. When the call comes to us in this form, it can feel scary rather than glorious. This is the start of our separation, the first stage of the journey, and it can be the most terrifying. Freud says that separation gives us anxiety all the way back to our birth and the separation from our mothers. It is an intrinsically human experience. The call will come to us in many forms and potentially more than once. The question is, how will it be answered? It is easy in the world to live after the world's opinion. It is easy in solitude to live after our own, but the great man is he who in the midst of the crowd keeps with perfect sweetness the independence of solitude. Often when we are alone, we have dreams of grandeur, but as soon as we are surrounded by people, we fall into the wave. We become a part of the herd and the crowd. Every time you join the crowd at the expense of doing what you know you are meant to do, you are refusing the call. You know this feeling. The refusal manifests itself in the form of regret, that moment when you have a chance and you let it go. The rumination can be endless. The hero's flowering world becomes a wasteland of dry stones and their life feels meaningless. Answering the call can be fearful. Like a ship in the harbor, you are safe in your current life. But ships are not made for the harbor, and heroes are not made to live ordinary lives. Some people push past the refusal and answer the call. From there, they embark on adventure, but others, a majority of us, may need some guidance. As humans, we are social creatures. We thrive with other people around us, and when we are going through struggles, there's nothing better than a companion who has walked the path before you. This is your guide to your new self. You have somewhere you need to go, but you can't get there on your own. It can be just a push out the door or a guide to walk with you side by side. Every story has a great example of this, but regardless of the parallels, life isn't a book or a movie. A mentor doesn't just show up at your doorstep. You must go out and enter the world to find your guide. In modern days, you may not even need to know your mentor personally. It can be a book, an author, another creator, someone you admire that has walked a path similar to the one you are being called upon. The mind is not a vessel that needs filling, it is wood that needs igniting. What have you done to ignite it? Who are you spending your time with? We have all heard your network is your net worth. This is not just financially, this is physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Once the mentor is found, this is the first true encounter for a hero on their journey, and it is reserved only for those who have not refused the call and are ready to begin. The usual person is more than content. He is even proud to remain within the indicated bounds, and popular belief gives him every reason to fear so much as the first step into the unexplored. This is the threshold between separation and initiation. This is the moment you've been waiting for, and it is one of the hardest. You've heard the call, you've decided to answer, someone may even be willing to guide you, but the first step needs to be taken by the hero. You will feel nervous, you will feel fear, but the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. The hero's internal critic is what stops most, but pushing through this is the most critical step. How can one master the external world if they cannot conquer the world within themselves? This fear manifests itself in many ways. Stephen Pressfield calls it resistance. Most of us have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance. The more important a call to action is to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel about answering it. But to yield to resistance deforms our spirit. It stunts us and makes us less than we are and were born to be. Crossing the first threshold is pushing past resistance, knowing that your call to action is truly the most important thing in your life, and then acting upon that knowledge by moving forward into the unknown. This is where the true work gets done. The hero encounters challenges and difficulties, friends to help them along, and enemies that hold them back. This is the start of the hero's ordeal, and the ordeal is a deepening of the problem of the first threshold. Can the ego put itself to death? Can you push past the resistance and the fear? Although the resistance and the fear will manifest themselves in different forms, as you continue your mission, you have something to lean back on. You have already conquered the first threshold. It doesn't matter what the task was, it was an overcoming of resistance and fear. It has been done once, so it can be done again. We all know intrinsically that nothing of true value can be gained without going through challenge. The question is, can you set aside what society wants you to be for what you know you are meant to become? Somewhere along the way, all the heroes of our favorite stories decide they're willing to die for whatever their mission is. This doesn't have to be a physical death. It can be a death of their former selves, their ego that binds them to the ordinary world. In other words, they're willing to dedicate their lives to their mission. And why should they fear dedicating their lives to something? For in one life, we are guaranteed one death. Why not allow this to be in pursuit of something that will truly make you live, not just be alive? As a hero, you must be willing to dedicate your life to something for it to take fruition. And often, as the stories of time have showed us, this dedication can lead to your most difficult challenge yet. One cannot be a hero to themselves or to others unless they conquer and face their deepest fears. As we know, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Do you understand yourself well enough to know your biggest fear? Whatever the fear is, it needs to be faced head on. The heroes of our stories know this. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. It's simple. Do shit more. Think about it less. Let the world feel you penetrate it. Be who you are and be present in the world, and do not wait to hear the world's opinion. Let others figure out how to react to you and not the other way around. Let people feel the weight of who you are and let them deal with it. Confidence builds from the action, not the result, not from the words, and not from the thinking. The ordeal is the climax for the hero. Every failed test and every successful endeavor has led up to this. Confidence builds from repeated action. As Campbell says, the hero derives hope and assurance from previous powers gained. This climax is what you have been working towards, and your success will be determined by how well you have prepared yourself for the journey. In his lessons here, Campbell tells the story of Phaeton, the son of Helios, the Greek god who drove the flaming chariot of the sun from east to west every day. Helios owed his son a promise, and at his request, let him drive the chariot. Phaeton, however, was not ready. As he drove the chariot of the sun, he could not control it. The heavens were scorched, and the earth was burned. Zeus had to intervene, and with a lightning bolt, struck Phaeton from the sky. When the roles of life are assumed by the improperly initiated, chaos supervenes. This is why our initiation and the trials we conquer on our journey are so valuable. There will be pain you need to endure and past actions to atone for, but above all else, in order to conquer the ordeal, you need to rise above your earthly ego. When the envelopment of consciousness has been annihilated, then the hero becomes free of all fear, beyond the reach of change. This is the release potential within all of us, in which anyone can attain herohood. Rise above your ego, kill it if you must, and provide the world with your unique and beautiful gift. When the ordeal is conquered, the hero will reap a reward. They have reached what they sought. The hero has become, by virtue of the ceremonial, more than man. Once this point is reached, you are not fighting against the world. You are not fighting to complete your mission. You are a part of the world, and the world is a part of you. The reward is a blessing, but it is also your gift to others. It was hard, the hardest thing you've ever done. The agony of breaking through personal limitations is the agony of spiritual growth. Your growth is not your own, however, and as the hero, you must return to the ordinary world that you left when you began your journey. The quest has been accomplished. The hero has grown along the way and reaped the reward of their pursuit. But in that process, it has been learned that the journey is not a never-ending pursuit onwards and upwards. In order to be a true hero, you must find your way back. We go on our adventure to become the hero. Our own hero is often how we think of it. Once the reward of our journey has been bestowed upon us, however, we have a responsibility to bring it back to the rest of the world. Oftentimes, it is difficult for the hero to make this decision on their own. How many times have we seen successful individuals set out with the right intentions, only to fall from grace as they become consumed by the gifts the world has offered them? There is a chance that the world may need to come and get the hero to bring them back down to earth. And yet, insofar as one is alive, life will call. Society is jealous of those who remain away from it and will come knocking at the door. This can be a heavy adjustment, but the returning hero, to complete his adventure, must survive the impact of the world. If this impact is survived, the hero returns to the ordinary world with the elixir, the reward, as master of two worlds, the ordinary everyday world and the world of adventure, with a freedom to live and be master of both. And as a master, you are now called upon to lead others. Help them to realize their call to adventure. Help them to answer that call and bring them across the first threshold. If you can conquer the journey within yourself and then lead and help others to do the same, we are able to conquer the world of stagnation and scarcity. you can transcend the earthly limitations placed on you and together with others serve the world. This change starts with the individual. Individuals consciously choosing to wake up to their calling, take a path of adventure, growing stronger along the way until they reach the ultimate reward of transcendence above the ordinary, above stagnation and complacency, finally culminating into a gift and reward they can share with the world in order to bring as many people as possible along with them. From here, the world is conquered, and conquered by true heroes in pursuit of a higher purpose. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Rooted, a place for the sharing of curiosity, knowledge, and inspiration. For when we keep our minds rooted to the pursuit of knowledge, together we can grow to new heights.